Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Silver. Our guest today is the one and only Lynette Zang. She is the founder and CEO of Zang Enterprises and a legend in the precious metals industry. Welcome back, Lynette.
It's good to be here, Ivan. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. I wanted to get you on to talk about everything that's happening in the silver and gold space. It's 2025, the start of the year. So, first question I have for you, Lynette, is, where do you think the gold or the precious metals industry is going in 2025?
Up.
Hopefully.
Well, here's the thing. There are visuals like the spot market, which is what you're actually asking me, but that's such an easily manipulated market. However, when I say gold and silver are going up, I'm referring to their fundamental value, and that's really the value that they have as monetary metals, which right now are hidden, but that's not going to be the case. Though even so, in both of those areas, I think we're going to see up because I think we're going to see a lot more inflation this year.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about like, oh, they're going to be reducing interest rates at the Fed, and but how can they do that when inflation is gradually increasing and we're not seeing a stop to it? So, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think they're going to have rate cuts, rate increases staying the same? What's happening there?
Well, that is such an interesting question because as you can see on a global basis, the global central banks are like chomping at the bit to lower interest rates so that more people borrow and spend. We've got a debt wall that's coming due at a higher interest rate environment. So they're like a racehorse that's just really wanting to get out of the gate, but oh my goodness, this inflation just is proving to be so sticky though. Oh, it's coming down. We were just talking, Adam and I were talking about it just before this segment, and he was mentioning, yeah, I said to him, I said, oh, don't worry because US inflation just came in at 2.9%. And he goes, oh yeah, I noticed that when I went to the grocery store. And so why shouldn't everybody be happy that the rate of increases in the things that they use on a day-to-day basis is going up a little bit slower, maybe? I'm not really sure that that's true, to be honest with you, but maybe. So I think that inflation is indeed, and we can see this all around the world, proving to be very, very sticky and has transitioned to becoming higher and faster, which is going to force the central bank's hands to either maintain the rate or increase the rate. But what they really want to do is drop that rate. And that's what Wall Street wants, right?
Yeah.
That's what the markets want are lower interest rates so they can create more of this garbage it into the fiat money markets and push those markets up so that the normal person goes, oh, everything must be okay because look at this, the stock market is up. When in reality, the real trend is not stock markets going up or crypto markets going up or real estate markets going up. It's what the value of this is doing in terms of purchasing power. That's what impacts us. And this is going down.
As you know, I'm a big fan of gold and silver, so I can't think of a better platform to partner with than Gold Republic. Gold Republic sells and stores physical precious metals in a simple, secure, and safe way with a buyback guarantee. You can access your portfolio 24/7 via their unique app, which is available for iOS and Android. And the best thing is, I can give you a 20% discount on the transaction fees with the code SILVER20. The link is in the description below. Check them out. Abs Absolutely. You absolutely nailed it, Lynette. And you look at a lot of people are starting to wake up to the manipulation in, the inflation data, the inflation rate, because, if you look at shadow stats and you look at real numbers, inflation is way higher than that, or, around that 2% mark. It's way, way higher than that, even if you go to the grocery store. So my question to you is, like, how can people really, really protect themselves? I know I know like a lot of people have been saying, get into precious metals, get into silver, get into gold. But for all our new audience and all of our new members out there, how would you give them advice to protect your purchasing power?
Well, tried and true is where I'm at because it's more than just protecting your purchasing power. We are transitioning into a completely new economic, financial, and social system. And that means that we have to have a lot of upheaval. So, to protect your purchasing power, what's been proven for thousands and thousands of years is silver actually maintains your ability to purchase at least the same goods and services over time. Gold expands that. So you need to really have a foundation of sound money in any portfolio. Even if you are going to take more risks, you need to be appropriately diversified. But it's so much more than that as well,
Right.
because you need to be in a position to sustain a reasonable standard of living. And so that means that you need security. Yes, you need a foundation and sound money. You got to have that. But you also need food, water, security, barterability, wealth preservation, community, and shelter. These are all of the things that you need to have a reasonable standard of living. And so I've personally been working on that diligently since 2008 because I knew when that financial crisis hit that the system died, but
Right.
people don't have that luxury of time anymore. So that's why coming together in local community so that you can create that security around all of those things that you need to be secure, your food, water, etc., but then also on a global basis, because we are entering into a new monetary system. And if that system is full surveillance and you have nothing outside of the system,
Yeah.
then you are not going to have any other choices but to do whatever you're told to do.
Yeah, you absolutely nailed that, Lynette. Like I 110% agree with that. And I guess what's concerning you the most in the markets these days? Is it the commercial real estate? Is it, the repo market? What is it that you have your eye on right now that's concerning you the most?
Well, I'm looking at the interest rates that are hitting well, we had the 20-year U.S. Treasury hit over 5% the other day. So I think the rates going up into this wall of debt and the level of debt issuance that not just the US government, not just the corporations, but the entire world,
Yeah.
the debt that must roll over into this higher interest rate environment with the lack of liquidity, which is the ability to buy and sell without making a huge shift in prices. I would say it's the debt wall into this environment that really has me the most nervous because the US Treasury is the foundation of the global economy and the global financial system right now. And frankly, since 2015, it's been kind of going like this. There's an earthquake that's brewing underneath. And then what's going to happen when that earthquake hits and all your choices are lost?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And you're looking at, we're talking about the interest rates. What are the similarities from the interest rates that we're seeing like now and compared to the 70s? Because in the 70s, they reduced, well, inflation was high, then they increased interest rates, but not enough, and then they started reducing them. And then inflation went out of control, then Volcker came in. So what do you see as the similarities, or I guess the differences from now to the 70s?
That's a fabulous question. I see a ton of similarities and parallels. And I mean, it was really kind of funny. I do a live every Tuesday, and somebody on the live said, what do you know? You're old, or it was something like that, right?
You're not old.
So glad that I'm old. I'm 70 years old, and I
What?
through the 70s. You know, I was a child. So what I see is I see war, so a lot of geopolitical turmoil. I see very high inflation. I see markets that so want to implode and go down and would were it not for this, right? I see civil unrest. I see the transition into a new system, which is what was happening in the 70s,
Right.
right? We're going from at least a quasi debt based system into or quasi gold backed system into a fully debt based system. And look, they know how to make these transitions. And the way that they do it is they keep things looking as normal as possible. And I really should always have these organized in a way that I'm looking for it. But, you know, they know how to make these transitions. This is a $20 bill. This should be 1969. So this had a level of gold backing in it. And then here, nope, that's not it. Here it is. Here is a $20 bill that is 1977. They look any different to you?
No, they look exactly the same.
Exactly. That is exactly accurate because I didn't know living through it when Nixon took us off the gold standard and disallowed the rest of the world from converting their dollars into gold. There was a run on the dollar in the 60s, right? That's another thing that's so similar. If you look at the current run on the dollar, which is being instituted by China and Japan, liquidating their treasuries, not buying as much, that's the same exact methodology, because that's the foundation of the currency, that was happening with the gold rush or the run against the dollar in the 60s. So the similarities are all there. We are converting into a new system, but this one is actually bigger than the one in the 70s because you were still going into, like you said, there's no difference between these two.
Right.
Except one had a quasi gold backing, the other had a full debt backing. Well, they're doing the same thing with cryptocurrencies. And what they're making it look like is the same as this, as gold, right?
Right.
It's not. They have two different functions. This is proven, this is speculative, but in order to go into the CBDCs, they have to have enough adoption and people feel comfortable enough with this, then it makes it an easy transition, just like flipping this was.
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking. Do you think it'll be successful when the debt bubble does really pop and we do transition to a new system? Do you think they'll be successful at rolling out cryptos to the mass public, or will you see a lot of people rejecting it?
Boy, I don't know.
Right.
That's really what the struggle is. That's really why I've joined the Sound Money movement and I'm on the advisory board. That's why I'm traveling all around the world, speaking to people and handing out silver as tips and things like that, because people have been so far removed from sound money,
Right.
which physical gold and physical silver, gold the primary currency metal, silver the secondary currency metal, that I know that they're definitely trying. But I also know just as important and maybe even a tad more important than that local community development is the global community development, because we have to take our power back.
Yeah.
When we could walk into the bank with one of these and walk out with one of these, that it forced fiscal responsibility and it created power in the public, because if you didn't like what they did, you just pulled the gold out of the system, and hey, that created restrictions around what governments could do. But once they took that away from us, then, I mean, what restrictions do they have? They have no restrictions. Look at it. It's ridiculous, the level of debt that they're growing. It's just all of these political promises and scratching backs and doing all of this. I mean, I I look at what's happening, and not for me, because as we determined earlier, I'm old.
Yeah,
Right?
of course.
So I'm only going to be here, I think, another 30 years. But we have children, we have grandchildren, and what they want is to go full circle and take us back to that feudal system where you just have a few that own everything and everybody else that has to rent.
Yeah. It's I feel like it's getting crazier and crazier, Lynette. And like looking at the world right now, that there's so much debt. Like if you look at just the US alone, and I know Canada has its own problems, but if you look at the US alone, the trillions and trillions in debt, and they're printing, it seems like almost every day they're printing billions and billions of dollars, just giving it away country to here, war and spending. Like when does it end?
It ends when all confidence in those that are in power and in this stuff is lost.
Right.
That's when it ends. This is a con game. It requires confidence. It's why they always test inflation expectations and consumer confidence and small business confidence. Why? Because once that confidence is lost, and I mean, in Canada, you're experiencing that. We're experiencing it in the US with Trudeau stepping down and with Trump getting in and all of this. The public is annoyed, and that's to say it lightly. But to think that somebody else will come in and do it for you is foolish.
Yeah.
It's foolish, foolish, foolish. You have to become your own central bank. You have to be as independent and self-sufficient as you can possibly be, because if you are not, you will lose all choices, and not just for yourself. It seriously bothers me that I, at a 70-year-old woman, have more rights than my 9-year-old granddaughter.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? That's insane. And we see the rights getting whittled away and whittled away and whittled away and whittled away. We have to take our rights back.
Yeah, no, I 110% agree with you. It's such a breath of fresh air having you come down to Wall Street Silver and giving us all your knowledge. And yeah, it's just a breath of fresh air, Lynette. But I want, before you head off, I really want people to connect with you. I'm going to put your links in the description below, but where can people connect with you? Where can people find you?
Well, if they really want to connect with me, I do a live every noon every Tuesday at noon Mountain Standard Time. So, and then I take all the questions in the world. The only reason why we filter any questions if it's a bigoted response or something like that. We
Right.
ask that. But there are no questions that are off limits. But they can easily find me on YouTube or Twitter at the Lynette Zang, and Facebook and Instagram at Lynette Zang, as well, of course, as our website, LynetteZang.com. But we execute a strategy that is based, it's a sound money strategy, and it's based upon these repeatable patterns. And you know what our minimum is?
What?
Minimum, because we believe so strongly that people need to own gold and silver, our minimum is $1 silver. That's
Okay.
$1 silver. And I also want everybody to understand that gold and silver in any form is monetary at its base. So regardless of your budget or lack thereof, there are so many different ways that you can accumulate sound money. And I've done all of them, so that I could think of anyway. So, and I think that's how strongly I feel about it. It's critically important, and it's also critically important to do it now. Don't wait. No more procrastinating. Get it done.
Yeah, people have to start protecting themselves. Everyone watching, I really want you to go connect with Lynette. I'm going to put all the links in the description below. But Lynette, it's such a huge pleasure having you come down to Wall Street Silver. I really want to thank you, and hopefully in the future, I'd love to have you back.
I would love that too, Ivan. And I'm going to be at VRIC this coming weekend, right? I think the event is on Sunday and Monday.
Correct.
So if anybody's seen me on this and they happen to, I'd love it if you'd let me know. That's fun, meeting people and getting to answer questions in person, which is something we're working on. Yeah, something we're working on. It's really exciting to me. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's a huge, huge pleasure. Again, everyone watching, please hit the like and subscribe button, and please go connect with Lynette Zang. All the links in the description below. Lynette, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Ivan. Thank you for having me.
Talk to you soon.